Okay, morning guys. It's me with my lockdown hair in my son's bedroom. Right, so I thought I would do this. It's probably going to be too difficult with my kids to be able to do a live teaching session, really. So I'm trying to pre-record something. Excuse that my eyes are going to look here, there, and everywhere because I'm basically having a look at the PowerPoint that I've created that I will also attach to the lesson. So you started to look at Creon on Tuesday's lesson. You started to look at his speech with the chorus when he first entered. The question that we're going to look at today is looking at Creon in two sections of the play, and they are totally up to you as to which two sections that you're going to choose. The question is, as a performer, discuss the effects that you would wish to create through your presentation of Creon. So that means, how are you presenting Creon? Are you going to have him as this ruthless leader? Are you going to play him a little bit like he was kind of forced into this situation? You know, he didn't want to be like this, but he had to be like this to make sure that things ran smoothly in Thebes. It's up to you. So think about everything that we've talked about in lessons as well, everything that you've researched yourself. How would you perform the role in at least two sections? So you must do two sections. You can do more than two, but definitely do the two sections. And then the next part of the question is, in order to achieve your aims. So how are you playing him vocally, physically? What are his interactions like? So talk about the lines that he says, how he says them, how he acts them, but also talk about the reaction. So it's action and reaction, the action that Creon takes and the reaction that people who Creon is talking to in the scene, how do they react to what Creon is saying? You must make specific reference to SHC, social, historical, cultural reference, to Antigone and the play. So use your vocabulary. Obviously, you're going to have all of your notes with you. Ordinarily, you wouldn't have that, but I do want you to do it in timed conditions. So I don't want you to take any longer than 55 minutes to do this. Okay, so when you're looking at this question, first of all, you need to decide on the effect. So what is your interpretation of Creon, and how do you want your audience to respond to him? And you need to make reference to the audience in every single paragraph that you are doing. How would you perform him? So it's a performer, so you are writing first person. As playing Creon, I would do this, I would do that. You can still do a casting decisions, which you would do in your opening paragraph, but remember, it is I, not Creon is doing this, Creon is doing that. It's I, because you are the performer playing him. Decide on the two sections. A section is a unit of action and it must be more than 1 page in length. Okay, but I would spread them out. I wouldn't choose sort of two sections from one scene. You can do, but I think it shows breadth of knowledge of the play if you choose them from different scenes, for example. And everything that you say, link back to your aim for Creon. So when he does this, when I speak like this, when I do that, my aim is to blah, 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 blah. What you'll notice on the PowerPoint is I've given you an example paragraph. Within that paragraph, it says the line that I'm looking at, it tells me what I would do with the costume that I am going to be wearing, talks about gestures and the effect of those gestures as well. So within that, you're kind of hitting all of the criteria that you need to hit. So you're showing your cultural, historical knowledge of the play. You've got some glossary in there as well. Your knowledge and understanding about Creon, and why Creon is being the way Creon is being, and links into the gods as well. So have a little read through and it should make sense as well. Okay, when thinking about this essay, think about the structure of the essay as well. Remember that you can go on Learn Moodle and have a look at how to structure your Section A essay. I would suggest that you do this before you start to write your own essay as well, because the structure is there. We've gone through it. Use it almost like a Bible as how to answer the essay. In the opening, you're going to want to get in a little bit of social historical context in there as well. Probably the biggest clue to this essay is you're going to want to show the change in Creon. how at the beginning, you know, the contrast at the beginning of the play where he's approached by the sentry, and then sort of towards the end of the play, and then his breakdown at the end of the play as well. He embodies this sort of powerful, godlike figure to the citizens of Thebes. He's awed by them, but also feared by them as well. He demands the respect from them, as he should, because what you've got to remember is Thebes has been through this massive war. So Creon really doesn't have any other option than to kind of rule with an iron fist, really. And he kind of can't make exceptions for Antigone. And obviously that's where they clash. So make sure that you think about that. Make sure that you kind of show his change throughout the play, or at least you make reference to the fact that you know that he changes throughout the play. When thinking about Creon and staging and performance techniques and stuff, think about who Creon is. He has just been given this role of King of Thebes, the leader of Thebes. Think about his posture. It would be a strong, open posture, his shoulders back, his eyes fixed above the audience while walking down the steps of the palace, showing the audience, showing us that he is at the top of the hierarchy. He is top dog. He's got the highest status that's happening at the time. Think about how he's going to speak, how he's addressing them. You know, in that opening speech, he's basically flattering all of the elders of Thebes, but also at the same time flattering them, saying, you know, I know you were loyal to the last king, but at the same time, he's also kind of giving them a veiled warning as well, like basically be loyal to me. Otherwise, look at what I'm about to do to Antigone. If I'm willing to do that to my family, then what do you think I'm going to do to you? Getting your social historical context in there as well. The fact that obviously they were the start of a democracy at the time. You know, there wasn't really a democracy in Greece at the time when Sophocles was writing. How women didn't have the power. You know, men had a lot of the power in the system. You can make this relevant to a modern day audience as well, because we still have tyrannical leaders nowadays. And, you know, that is very relevant to kind of us as a modern day audience. Creon isn't used to being challenged. That's where he kind of butts heads a little bit more with Tiresias. And obviously he doesn't heed his warning either, which is quite an important part in the play. So remember that Creon is the leader. He would demand respect. So in some ways, he probably thinks that Tiresias is being disrespectful towards him. So think about his body language, if you're going to use that as part of a scene. Think about his body language as well when he's talking to Haman. And obviously the fact that Haman's trying to kind of persuade him to change his mind when it comes to Antigone, and even his own son can't change his mind. So basically just show your knowledge and understanding of Creon, and show that you have an understanding that he does change from the beginning of the play, and then obviously the very end of the play, he's like a crumbled man. You know, he's kind of half the picture of what he was when we first met him at the beginning of the play. Okay, last little bit of advice. Quotes are an absolute must. Make sure that you've got them in there. Make sure they're embedded. Every time you use a quote, then say what your aim is during that time, what you expect the audience reaction to be. If you can get a little bit of social historical context in there, then get that in there as well. But, you know, you need to be looking at around about sort of 12 quotes, really, and shorter paragraphs. So every time you're making a point, then go on to a next paragraph as well. Action, reaction, all of those things. Okay, so I am going to be around on Teams in the morning. I'm going to post this video soon. I'm highly embarrassing of myself, but I thought it would be better coming from me. The PowerPoint will be available as well, and I do expect the essay to be done and handed in to me tomorrow, because you really should do it in 55 minutes, and our lesson time would be 90 minutes tomorrow. So you've got plenty of time to look through your notes, to go through the PowerPoint that I'm going to send you, and to watch my little 10-minute video. Great. Look forward to marking your essays. 25 markers, remember that's what they're worth, 25 marks. Okay, thank you. Hope you're all staying safe. Bye.